Hello, bookworms, and welcome to the Book Up. I'm your host, Verdell Walker. Today, I'm doing a TBR top-up where I share the books I'm adding to my to-be-read pile. So sit back, get cozy, and let me give you the Book Up. So before I get into my new picks for my TBR, I want to go back and give you guys a review of the books that I highlighted in TBR Top Up number 2 at the end of the last season. And if you missed TBR Top Up number 2, no worries. I have a link to the episode in the show notes. So I highlighted 4 books in that episode. First was The Devil 3 Times. Second, Catabasis. 3, Joy Goddess, and 4, The Night and the Moth. So The Devil 3 Times and Catabasis, I'm still reading. Don't hate me. I get a little distracted sometimes, and I got distracted, so I'm still reading them. Both of them are very good. On Catabasis in particular, it is a very interesting story. Y'all know I love me some R.F. Kuang, but sometimes it is like a college philosophy course or applied mathematics course that I didn't sign up for. There's a lot of kind of theory in it, and sometimes it hurts my brain. I've been in a space lately where I need things that are a little bit more, shall we say, down to earth or maybe a little less rigorous to read, but still enjoying it. The Night and the Moth, which is a romantasy, which you guys may remember is a genre that I'm kind of getting tapped out on. It surprised me. It was a bit ho-hum at the beginning, quite fine, but ho-hum, until the last 20% when it kicked into high gear. I cannot wait for the sequel, The Knave and the Moon, which is due out on September the 1st, 2026. So the last book, Joy Goddess, which was a biography of Alelia Walker, who is the daughter of Madam C.J. Walker, was actually a DNF for me. I am sorry to say it was not very well written, in my opinion. I think the author was going for kind of a novelistic, almost cinematic quality, but unfortunately, the craft of the writing just wasn't there. And I found myself just not really being drawn into it as deeply as I wanted to be. So I gave up on that one. Again, if you guys learn nothing else from me, do not be ashamed of a DNF. If the book isn't gelling with you, if it isn't sparking joy, put it down. That's what I did with Joy Goddess. Joy Goddess did not spark joy. So, let's get into my new picks for my TBR. First up is A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. This one caught my attention because of the premise and the buzz around it online and in respected book review outlets. It's also a National Book Award and Kirkus Prize finalist. The book is a blend of literary fiction and climate spec fic set in a near-future climate-battered Kolkata in India. A mother on the brink of escaping to the U.S. with her family has her purse stolen by a starving young man. And inside that purse are her family's climate visas. So this sets off a tense, week-long struggle that blurs the line between protector and perpetrator. I knew I had to add this to my TBR because of the unique concept. It sounds so gripping. I love cli-fi, aka climate fiction, and Megha is an award-winning, respected author. I'm really excited to dive into this one, and I hope that I get a gripping plot, some deep character development, and a story that really makes me think. Switching things up a bit, I've also added Lost Souls Meet Under a Full Moon by Mizuki Tsujimura to my list. Hope I did that justice. It is a magical realism novel about a mysterious teenager who is a go-between, who arranges meetings between the living and the dead, but only under the full moon. and only once per person. He gives people one last chance to see someone they've lost. Along the way, he helps a resentful son, a grieving teenager, and a weary businessman confront their past. And slowly, he reveals his own enigmatic story, too. This book is already a multi-million copy bestseller in Japan, and it feels like a great representative of that healing fiction from Asia that I talked about in my bonus episode on cozy fantasy in season 2. I picked this one though because it sounds like it has a little bit more bite to it, which is my favorite type of cozy. If you guys remember from that episode, which don't worry, I'll link to it in the show notes as well as the cozy fantasy Substack post. So for Lost Souls, I'm hoping to be transported to a magical world and find rich, layered characters I want to spend time with. In other words, I'm hoping it grabs me like Watermoon did, another cozy with bite. Next up is a nonfiction pick, The Conjuring of America, Mojos, Mermaids, Medicine, and 400 Years of Black Women's Magic by Lindsey Stewart. This book explores how the magical folk tradition known as conjure, which is a mix of spiritual beliefs, herbal rituals, and therapeutic practices brought by enslaved Africans to America, has shaped American culture from the plantation South through today. So, in her book, Stewart traces how Black women's healing practices and spiritual knowledge and their cultural innovations influenced everything from traditional remedies to everyday staples like Vicks Vapor Rub, while uncovering the often overlooked role of conjure women in resisting oppression and sustaining community across generations. A friend of mine picked this one up in her local bookshop and texted me about it, and I was immediately like, gotta cop that. I'm really hoping to learn something here. I have lived experience of roots and root workers, as we say in my corner of the South, but I'm excited to get a scholarly look at these practices, particularly through the lens of the Black women who kept these traditions alive over centuries. I'm going to have to get a physical copy of this one because I know that I'm going to be highlighting passages and making notes in the margins. Now, last but certainly not least on my list is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is the first book in her Sholomance trilogy. This is a dark fantasy novel and it drops you into a brutal magical boarding school called the Sholomance, where survival is the curriculum and monsters called Maleficaria are constantly trying to kill the students just for having magic. I have really outdone myself with the hard to pronounce words in this episode, haven't I? So, the Sholomance has no teachers or adults. It's a magically sentient school, and it's nearly as dangerous as the beast inside of it, and roughly half of the students die before graduation. So the book follows Elle, a powerful but reluctant dark sorceress who struggles to control her immense powers and avoid becoming a villain. And Elle has to learn to survive without allies, relying on her wits and her powers, while dealing with other students and the school's deadly challenges. Let me just say, dark academia is very much my thing, but the magical school trope is so played out. Whenever I see a book now about a magic academy, I almost always skip over it. That said, what makes me excited for this one is that it's written by the one and only Naomi Novik. She is an incredible writer. I have been writing for her since I started reading her Temeraire series in college. And if you don't know about that series, it's a historical fantasy saga set during the Napoleonic Wars, featuring dragons as an aerial combat force. So cool. Naomi is that girl in my eyes, and from what I've read, these Sholomance books subvert the magical school genre with a darker, more brutal tone, and they explore social dynamics, privilege, and the nature of power. I think I'm going to be in good hands here, and I'm looking for my mind to be blown. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Book Up. If you want to pick up any of the books I discussed today, check out the episode description for shoppable links. I'll earn a commission if you make a purchase, so your support helps keep the show going. And if you're enjoying The Book Up, please take a moment to leave a rating and a review. It makes a huge difference in helping other book lovers find the show, and I read every single one. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you have any book recs for my TBR, drop them in the comments over on Instagram at The Book Up Pod. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next time on The Book Up.